Hi everyone, Old Grey Sim Racer here again. Thought I might share with you my settings I used as a beginner when I commenced without any knowledge at all or experience in using GT7, and I wanted to make sure I was getting good experiences and not wasting lots of time in the evening getting frustrated with the software. So I set it up so that I could maximise the time I was on the system in terms of getting a result without worrying too much about the learnings. So let's dive in, and you can see we go in the controllers. We're on the T500 and it's mapped pretty well standard. I haven't changed much on that. It's pretty much as it comes out of the box, although I would have added the handbrake, I think. And that's about it. The other thing that's important is to make sure you've got your pedals set up correctly, and you can test this in this view, and you can check the pedal and the wheel calibration. So here I am just checking how the wheel is in terms of rotation, and it felt right. This is my accelerator, 0 to 100, make sure I'm getting to 100, and then I've calibrated the brake pedal to be at 100 at a point that feels about right to me. You want reasonable linearity for your brake pedal if you can get it, because you won't want to be using 100% brake all the time. Okay, so we're diving into the world circuits here now, and when I'm testing I always try and use the same track at the same time of day, and because I'm in Australia and I know it fairly well, I always use Bathurst. I'll run a time trial and I run at the 1040 time, and generally I'll put on racing mediums on whatever I'm using, because that gives me some consistency from car to car when I'm doing tests to see what I like and don't like, both about the car and the settings. So going in here, I've got this Mazda, it's on mediums already. So the assist settings, transmission's automatic, I'm using traction at full, we'll come back to that, ABS is default, and I will run with brake in auto drive. So I'm getting an assistance in terms of braking as I'm driving this car. As my beginner settings, that just helps me from overstretching where I'm up to, and I will then be able to not have to worry about lots of off tracks and crashes. So the braking indicator's off, but normally I would run with that on as my beginner setting, and the braking assist at the bottom would be on as well. I'll also put the braking areas on, and it just makes it easier when you first learning, and gives you a feel for what's going on. Some would say a false sense of security, because when you go and turn it off later you have to actually learn about braking at the right time, rather than having the computer help you to get it right. These are my settings for my force feedback on my wheel. Sometimes the temporary exposure's important, not necessarily on this track in the middle of the day, but as you can see, if you're running later in the afternoon, you can actually lighten the track up and get some more better view of what you're looking at, particularly for me with reasonably old eyes. When it gets dark and I get lots of shadows, I start to struggle with my perspective of where I am on the track. I'm running the Ghost on, and that helps me to see how I'm progressing from lap to lap, but I do run that Ghost 2 seconds up the road, because I find it very disconcerting when I actually catch the Ghost and actually drive through it. It's not something that I'm used to doing, and it does put me off quite often. And this is where the ghost, you can load ghosts other than your own, but I just run my personal best ghost. Otherwise, if you run someone that's really good up the road, then they're gone and it doesn't really help you. But when you're getting to that stage, you can try that out too. So here it is, 2 seconds up the road in the ghost settings, as we said. The rest doesn't matter too much. All of this is in its default state. Again, default's not an issue, we're just time trialing at the moment. So we're ready to go. The time trial starts just on the back of the chase at Bathurst Mount Panorama, which is my normal track where I try things out, and as an Aussie, makes good sense because I know it pretty well. So we're down one pit straight, and we're coming up the hill corner, and a brake at about the 100 mark. Try and turn in here and make a really nice apex, because you want to keep your speed up as you head up the hill. Some different views you can use. Select, often people will use this one, but it also tells me that the driver's on the right hand side of the car, which is handy to know. Braking here at the entry road, turn in, carry lots of speed across, and coming up to the cutting, this is a tricky little part of the track with this little bend to the left and then a really tight rise up through the cutting and into the top of the mountain. You'll see here that the brake assist flashes on, which tells me that the game has put a little bit of brake in there rather than me doing it. Again there, and across under across into Skyline, and I just ease a bit on the throttle there, and again now across here and down into the S's and the dipper. Tricky part of the track is telling me to brake. Want some more brake here at the dipper, and I'm just riding the throttle a little, full on down here, coming up to Forest Elbow, right out, and you're trying to come in here on this flat part of the circuit and out to the wall without hitting it. And the faster you can get down through there, the faster you'll be on Conrod Straight, naturally. So we're running down here in the Mazda in 5th gear. We're going to pull about 250 k's an hour just as we get to the chase. Turn in and on the brakes early. Again, the game's telling me I'm not braking early enough. Reasonable line through the chase, out wide, down under the bridge, and we're back to Murray's. Braking here between the 50 and the 100 again. Nice turn in here, run out wide, and that's our first lap completed. I normally do about 5 laps when I'm practicing learning a new circuit. Now above the speedo there you can see a little telltale. I'm down about half a second at this stage, which tells me that I really didn't get through Bell Corner very well. I'm losing time going up here on Mountain Straight, and the risk is you try and pick up time. So we're braking late, we're starting to pick up time, the arrow's gone blue, running out to the white line, coming up here, picking this brake marker here at that black point, and just running it as tight as I can through this part and trying to keep the car's momentum going forward up the hill. Cross through here, I'm going to go into what's known as the grate just here, up under the tree, and across again, across towards Brock's skyline. Peter Brock, famous Australian racing driver. Trying to brake here in a straight line, trying to straight line these S's as much as I can, keeping my momentum up, in tight, down through the dipper, flat out down here. You can see the traction control cuts in and out, wants me to brake before I get to the bend, braking again, nice and stable at Forest Elbow, right out, well, not right out to the wall, probably had a little bit left there, and a little bit too conservative down through that section, and you can see now that I'm down quite a long way on my first lap. So I lost a lot of time coming down the mountain. Don't try and pick it back up, just keep hitting your marks. It wants me to brake a lot earlier than I want to brake. A nice apex there, tucked in tight here, right out to the edge. And I haven't picked up anything through the chase. In fact, I've lost a little bit. I'm now over 2 seconds slower than my initial lap. So probably pushing a little bit hard rather than using the slow in, fast out technique. Probably just pushing a little hard with this car into the corners in places. And my delta on that lap, 2.5 seconds, pretty poor. So we start the next lap. We're up a little bit, so we've done okay into the corner, but just didn't maximise it. Came back in way too early to the left hand side and thrown time away here again. Got the traction control set quite low for this car. It seems okay with it. I've made up a little bit of time here through Griffins and now into the cutting. Can I hold on to this time, or will I lose it? Yeah, I was up nearly 0.4 and now I'm negative. So I lost a bit. The tail's a bit happy there, you can see. Just on the power too early. Tuck in tight, a little bit of brake there. And we're right on the margin for how we went against our first lap. We've picked a little bit of time up, but it's up and down. Now it's a little bit negative again. Cross on in here through Skyline. Filling Park into Skyline. We're up a little bit there, so we're a bit bolshy in through the McPhillips Park section, certainly. Can we hold on to it down through here? It'll all depend on just what sort of a run we get into Forest Elbow, and this is really tricky. The risk is that you just overdo it and run right out to the wall and touch the wall. This time it wasn't too bad. Dropped a little bit of time. I was up there, nearly a second up at one stage, and you can see that I'm losing a little bit of time to my best lap here. So again, just not quite nailing it out on to the Conrod Straight. And with this car, it's pretty nice to drive, I got to say. It behaves really well in cornering, but it is a car that you need to keep the power up to and not throw momentum away. It doesn't really have raw power to throw away to get you back on track again. And here I was pretty good right through here down into Murray's Corner, and just picked up a little bit of time there on that third lap, but not a lot. Threw a little bit away at the bottom. So you can see it's worth practicing, and it's worth looking at how you went. 224 and a half. I've done about a 222 in this car, and it really is probably not my best set of laps around Mount Panorama, but just an indication of what you'll see on the screen when you have all those assist settings in place. Although I did turn the traction control down at the end because you can throw a lot of time away while the traction control keeps the power off the engine. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.